Sahana vavatu Sahana bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May we acquire the capacity to study and understand the scriptures. May our study be brilliant and may we not cavil at each other. Om, peace, peace, peace unto us all. Dear brothers and sisters, loving Sai Ram to all of you. We welcome all of you for the online satsang of the Sri Sathya Sai Baba Center of Arcadia. Now coming back to our Gita Vahini, which we started. So as I said, this is Bhagavad Gita. We are having the commentary by Bhagawan. And last week, we talked about, just briefly, number one is we talked about not to have cycle of birth and death, punarjanma. For that, Swami says, you should get rid of your vasanas. Because we have so many vasanas, so over lifetimes, unless you get rid of the vasanas are like seeds. So to sprout, they will be born. You need to burn those vasanas by your devotional practices or by jnana. Otherwise, again, they will be there in a seed form, and they will be again, you will take another life birth. So there is one thing we talk about. So all the spiritual practices is to get rid of these vasanas. For that, we talked about you need to practice for dharma, your own dharma. And we talked about what is dharma, depending upon your gender, depending on your stage in life, whether you are a bachelor or a householder, or a vanaprastha recluse or a sannyasi, or depending upon your aptitude, like you are a Brahmin temperament or business Vaishya temperament, or then you are a Kshatriya temperament, warrior, or Shudra, which is unskilled labor. So depending upon whatever we do it with love and sincerity. Then we are doing our dharma, then it won't bind. But you do that, there is one important thing last week we talked about. Karmanyevadhikaraste maphaleshu kadachana. We all are bound to do duty morning to evening, very important. But willingly, we dedicate all our actions to God. Krishna Arpanamastu, Rama Arpanamastu, Sai Arpanamastu. So then they won't bind you. Otherwise, whenever we do actions, they give us bondage. Good, good, bad, bad. But really don't want to be free from bondage. So we bound to do the action from morning to evening, but dedicate that to God. That's why Lord Krishna says very important. Yat karoshi, whatever you do. Yat ashnasi, whatever you eat. Yat juhoshi, whatever rituals you do. Yat tapasyasi, whatever austerities you do. Yat whatever charities you do. Everything, at kurushva madarpanam, whatever you do, dedicate to me. Then you won't be bound. Otherwise, good, good, bad, bad. Even good, after a while you will be going to heaven, you will be enjoying something, but again you will come back. But if you don't want to go through the cycle of births and deaths, one other thing is, karmanyevadhikaraste maphaleshu kadachana. Don't seek for the fruits. That is the one which causes all the troubles, your bondage, cycle of births and deaths, and then disappointments and hopes. And then we talked about there also, Swami, last words we talked about is, as you equip yourself with the divine nature, Daivi Sampat, then the Lord will be there with you. So we talked last week, divine qualities, and also we were talking about there are divine qualities demonic qualities. And the demons are not the one, as I said, oh, dark complexion with big hands and big teeth and laughing. So anybody who has a bad quality. So this is there. Briefly, I will touch on that. This is in chapter 16. The name of the chapter is called Daiva Asura Sampad Vibhaga Yogam, where they talk about the divine qualities and demonic qualities. So first you need to get rid of the demonic qualities. Fortunately, he said only 6. But they're all bad. One is dambho. That means ostentatious, show off business. Some people give big parties, see how great we did. So you see, most of the things people do for show off. As I told you, Banerjees, by putting a big banner, how great we are. Oh, we had a guest list of 800 people for wedding. We did this, we did that. So most of the things in life, we want to show off. That is itself a demonic quality. You can see how many of us get involved, whether it is the parties or weddings or receptions or any other events. So you try to show off. That is very much against the divine quality, dambha. Then darpo, pride. Pride is great. So I'm so handsome, or I'm youthful, I'm scholarly, I'm wealthy, or I come from a great lineage, or I'm very powerful. All these are called ashtada prides, ashtamadas. So you may be proud of some people with the beauty, handsome, or their intellectual achievements, or physical strength, or power, wealth. All these are dangerous. Pride goeth before a fall. So dambho, darpo, abhimanascha, then attachment. Once you have all these things, family, possessions, you get attached to them. When the attachment, what is the problem? When that doesn't happen, you get cry. Oh my God, it didn't happen. And my son, I loved him so much. Now he doesn't care once he got married. Or then, so then these parents feel, oh, they don't even care. I'm in an old age. They dumped me in the nursing home. So many kinds. Whenever you are attached, whereas if you do love for love's sake, unconditional, without expectation, then you are free. Because we are attached, whether we are attached to the family or to the friends or property or bank balance, our name, fame, anything you are attached. Attachment is attachment. So that is another demonic quality. Dambo, darpo, abhimanasya. Then krodham, very important, is anger. Whenever we get angry, it is demonic quality. So we all get sometimes. So at least instead of getting tamasic or rajasic anger, get sattvic. One of my friends was telling me yesterday that one of his friends, he was so mad about somebody else. He made some comment 30 years ago. My God, you should write it off the head next day. 30 years ago, he said, this guy is still, that means he's carrying the load for 30 years. So sad. That is why this anger, Swami said, compare 3 things. Great people, saints, sages, good people. It is like writing on water. What happens when you write on water? As soon as you take your finger, it is gone. So you don't even remember. So those people, they may shout at you, like saints, sages, Swami, shout. But they will forget next minute, they will be laughing. Whereas Rajasic anger is like writing on a stone. They will carry for generation, like this guy's 30 years, 40 years, how to get rid of the vengeance. Even great people like Dronacharya, he had against Drupada because he insulted him. So he's such a great Brahmin, he's accomplished, but this vengeance and hatred. And then this worst is tamasic anger. It goes up for generations. I saw some places in India, there's a district called Kadapa district. Not only there, they transmit through generations. The generations you transmit bhakti, but there they transmit this hatred towards the other family. That is tamasic anger. So this krodha, that itself is a demonic quality. And then parushyam, and just being very rude and talking harsh and hurting people by your words and actions. So that is also very bad. Parushyam, very rude. So before you talk, did I hurt by my words, because their Swami says they can do more damage than if you slap, you forget. But this thing, as I was telling, some people remember what you said 30 years ago, 40 years ago. Do that. History shows that how that negative words happen. And then what is the root of all this? Dambodharpo, ajnanancha abhijatasya. These are all because of our ignorance, because we identify with body, mind, intellect. Abhijatasya partha sampadam asurim. This is asura sampada. That means this, you want to have the demonic wealth. This is the demonic wealth you can have. Ostentatiousness, pride, anger, rudeness, and attachment and ajnana. So how to go over that? How to conquer that? I said divine forces over demonic forces. Here it says important things. This I will tell you just briefly. Here there are many more qualities. These qualities are more. First is abhayam, sattva samshuddhi, yoga avasthita. First is abhayam. It means fearlessness. When do you get fearlessness? When you are completely with love. When there is two, whenever you see somebody else, you are always scared. So we could say abhayam is a divine quality. That's why we see whenever God, any God, you see, one is abhaya mudra, they will do like this. Another is varada mudra, they give the boons. They give the boons and they give the fearless. They make you say, hey, don't worry, I will take care of you. Be fearless and I will give you abhaya mudra, varada mudra. But our Swami is unique. Both hands he has abhaya mudra. So he is both hands. Why fear when I am here? So when you have faith that God takes care of my everything and pure love, you should not have fear. So whenever we have fear, that means we still do not have 100% faith in God and we have divine love. So abhayam is one of the very important divine qualities. And then sattva samshuddhi, always pure thoughts. Another thing is very important to have. Any thoughts when we get, we should have whether it is pure or not. So then ahimsa, not to hurt anybody from your thought, word and deed. And here also again he's telling satyam, always be truthful. One of the things Swami was telling, we say satyam vada dharmam chara. That is the Veda thing. But Swami says now what people do is satyam vada. Vada means kill. They kill satyam. Dharmam chara. Chara means they put in the prison. So that means that chara, another meaning is chara, they put in the prison. So that means they don't practice either truth or they don't practice dharma. So important is satyam, the thought, word and deed. This is the greatest in this. Satyannasti paro dharma. There is no higher than dharma than telling the truth. That is why you see so many people, like even Gandhi of recent times, his autobiography is My Experiments with Truth. And there are people who have given up their life, kingdom, like Sathya Harishchandra. There are so many people for the sake of truth. So truth is an important thing. And that's why Sri Ramakrishna used to say, if you practice truth for 12 years, you never tell one lie, you will get so much power in your words. Whatever you say, it will happen. Those people, you should be watch out those people who tell always truth. Then when you are around them, you do something and they say something, it will happen to you. So just be, that's why those sages of those days, they used to curse because they have so much power, they never do that. You get to irritate them or do something, then they will do that. So this, another is this truth. Then akrodham. So there it says krodha is demonic. Akrodham, not to have anger, is a divine quality. And daya is compassion for the beings. Daya is very important. And another important divine quality is kshama, forbearance. And Swami is the example. You see, even Jesus, when he was put on the cross, he was being tortured, crucified. What did he say? Father, forgive them, they know not what they do. And Buddha, Lord Buddha, same thing. Somebody wanted to throw him from a cliff of a mountain, poison him, do all that. His own cousin, Devadatta, but he forgave him. He said, if I love you like my own son, Rahul, you will get up and walk. So these are the people show they have complete forbearance. Swami, same thing. People try to poison him, and put a fire on the place where he was staying in the hut and try to harm him wherever he was going those days. So he forgave them. He says, and he didn't have any ill will towards that. So that Kshama, Swami says, forbearance is noblest quality. So achapalam, so not being wherever he is unsteady, that is also important. So these are all the various qualities. So don't think who is divine, who is demon, we know now. So you demons, don't think like movies, people have a different impression of demons. But if you have these qualities, even we have all of them. That is why each one of us have divine qualities and demonic qualities. The purpose is spiritual practice to get rid of these uh, demonic qualities, ultimately develop only the divine qualities. Then in this life itself, we'll realize our divine nature. So this is the main points we discussed last week about the vasanas, dharma, and then evil forces over the good. Now we'll continue in that book. It is page 4, and in the PDF document, if you are looking at it, it is on page 9, right? It's on page 9. So if you are opening on the email, please go to page 9. If it is in the book, it is page 4.
Of course, this does not mean that the Lord is not omnipresent. Butter is omnipresent in the milk, though it can be made manifest in one location in the milk only by the process of curdling and churning. So too, the Lord can be made manifest in one location by the process of Dharma sadhana. Yato dharmas tato jayaha. Where there is Dharma, there victory is achieved. Arjuna was engrossed with the physical aspect, and so it was necessary to bless him with the knowledge of the real, the Atmic aspect. The entire complex of sadhana, spiritual discipline, is directed to the clarification of the awareness of Atma and the fixing of attention on that. The teaching of Krishna is just this. In fact, this is the sum and substance of the search for truth. Swami is very clear, wherever is Dharma, there is victory. And more important thing is that it is, Swami is omnipresent, God is omnipresent, but you can manifest him by the Dharma sadhana, that means our practice, spiritual practices. That's so following Dharma, the God who is omnipresent, he will present himself for us.
Yeah, the reason Swami is explaining here is just in the previous paragraph, right, because they said divine qualities, demonic qualities. If you get rid of the demonic and have divine, then the quality of Dharma is there. And wherever there is Dharma, there God is. That means people think other places God is not there. God is there everywhere. That is because Swami says very clearly, there is only one God, he is omnipresent. So he is there in this table, he is there in my watch, he is there in my eyeglasses, in the camera we are looking at. Everything. That's why Swami beautifully said, Kana kanamu, anu anu, kshana kshanamu. That is all divine. It means every cell, means the whole, whether your cell, biological cell, cell of an animal, cell of a plant. Plants also have cells. So all cells have divinity. And anu, that's every atom. So everything, even mountains, rivers, everything has composed of atoms, the whole thing. So every atom. And kshana kshanamu, that means every moment. So that's nothing but divine. So everything is atom, cell, everything is permeated by God. But the manifestation is different. You can just take a beautiful example, Swami says, of light. Light is there, but you cover it with a dark cloth. thick dark cloud. Can you see the light? You can't see it. Similarly, man who is covered with the demonic qualities, this ostentatiousness, pride, and jealousy, and rudeness, that is all like dark qualities. You cover it. Your divine light is there. That person also, there is divinity is there. Even that's why when they die, Ravana, Sura, their light goes and merges in Rama. Shishupala, when he died, this goes and merges in Lord Krishna. So it is there, but it is covered by that thick ignorance. Then the light doesn't show up. Next, you put the same light, you put a nice red cloth, thin red cloth. You will see part of it, not really well. So similarly, if you are very Rajasic type, you will show some manifestation, but not good. But you are Sattvic, just like a white cloth, thin white cloth, then you see through and through. You can see that is like people who have divine qualities. But ultimately, there should not be any cloth. That is Trigunatita, Gunatita. So, tamasic, it is dark, go to Rajasic. At least be active, do good things. Then finally become Sattvic. So, all sacred, noble things. But finally, we should go Nistraigunya. That means beyond the gunas. That is by constant sadhana. That is why Swami says, God is there in everything, but you need that little sadhana to manifest that divinity. Gave the example beautifully. So the butter is there in the milk, but you need to make it a curd, then you need to churn and then get butter. Actually, there is a nice, beautiful poem in praise of Swami. Sume supta gandham dhrutam nama kshire tilam gudha tailam chakaste stitagni anantam rutam purnam onkar. God, what is this? Like in a flower, sume supta gandham, fragrance. Where is the fragrance? Can you see it, the fragrance? You experience it. So like a fragrance in a flower. Gutam nama kshirya, like in this milk, you see this butter, the ghee. Tilam gudha tailam, like in this ginjal seeds, mustard seed, there is oil. But can you just see the oil? You need to make the things from the oil. Tilam gudha tailam, chakaste thagagni. In a stick, there is fire. But can you see the fire in a stick? You rub two sticks together, then the fire comes. Similarly, to manifest the divinity, which every, as I said, every person, whether it's human, animal, plant, everything has, but to manifest it, then we have to do this sadhana. This is the spiritual discipline. That is why Swami says the ultimate teaching is to get that awareness of Atma, that we are not this body, we are not this mind, we are not this intellect, we are this Atma. To get established in that, we need to do constant sadhana. You cannot just be complacent and lethargic, that we can never achieve. Then again, we have to go through this cycle of birth again and again, again and again, till you get frustrated. So because that is why beautifully, we all came from Brahman. Why we are not happy? Because till we go back to Brahman, nobody will be happy. However wealthy you are, maybe a billionaire, trillionaire, or you may have 10 Nobel Prizes, you may achieve, you may have wonderful, so much power. It won't make you happy because you are still not connected. Till you go back to Brahman. You came from Brahman, you go back to Brahman. That's why Swami gave an example of Ganges. River Ganges, it goes on being. Where did it come from? The sea. You see the clouds go up, and then it forms a river. And then it will be happy only till the Ganges goes and merges again in the ocean. Came from the sea, it has to go back. Similarly, we all came from Brahman, and we need to go back. He says, let us very clearly said, clarification of the awareness of the Atma. This is the important sum and substance of the teaching of Lord Krishna. So that is this Atma Tattvam, that means realizing we are the Atma. That is the essence of all these things. That is what, even for Navaratri, that is what Mother comes to teach. The highest knowledge is the knowledge of Atma, Brahma Vidya. Okay, now you can continue.
Krishna answered many doubts that had entangled Arjuna, but which he failed to express. Oh Arjuna, you are grieving because These kings and princes who are related to you are about to meet death at your hands. You talk glibly of Dharma, but remember, the wise do not grieve either for the living or the dead. Shall I tell you why? Well, you are feeling grief over the body, which alone decays on death. Did you grieve when the body underwent many changes hitherto? The child disappeared in the boy disappeared in the youth became lost in the middle aged man, and the middle aged man was lost in the aged old man, and the old man is lost in death. You never wept for the changes that affected the body so long. Why then weep for this one change? Have you, today, the body you had when you were a boy? Where is that frame you had when you tied Drishtadyumna up? You still remember that boyish exploit, but the body that achieved it is gone. So, too, whatever changes your body may suffer, the Atma, the splendor of the true wisdom, remains immortal. Being established unshakably in this knowledge is the sign of the wise, the jnani. Thus said Krishna. It's a very beautiful example Swami gives how we don't shed tears for when we grow up. We change, so transformation happens from body. We don't really weep for that, but when there is death, we cry for them.
Yeah,
So it is associated with body.
For up to a point, we don't wipe. But once you get old, when you can't walk, when you have knee pain, when you can't see properly, when you can't hear properly, when you are tumbling, then you feel bad. Actually, that is why Lord Krishna says, Jnani, what is Janma Mutyu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam. He always thinks, hey, this body is goes the various changes. That is why even Adi Shankara in Bhajagovindam, Angam Galitam Palitam Mundam. That means this body, this gets folds. As you get Palitam Mundam, then you get this white hair here, there. Dashana Vihinam, then you'll get loose teeth and put the denture. Jatum Tundam Uddheyana Gruhyat, then you'll have a stick or walker or wheelchair, depending upon what. Uddheyana Gruhyat, Tadapina Munjati Ashapinam, but still, this asha, this desire, burning, and this vasanas are so strong. That is why the age, the body is going through all these changes, these folds and white hair, and then losing teeth and having defect cataract, this and that. But asha. But the thing is, you need to get rid of that. That is why even young people, there are people who become sannyasis at young age in Ramakrishna or Chinmaya, because at the young age itself they get that, hey, this life is this, let me use for the divine. That's why Prahlada, you think a 5-year-old boy, Dhruva, 5-year-old boy, how their intense love for God. So it can happen. So you don't need to wait that long. So never too late. But here, very simply, Swami said, this Lord Krishna said one thing. Wise do not grieve for the living or the dead. That means if you are grieving for the living people or dead people, that means you are not wise. Let us all think how many times we are grieving for the living. That means our kith and kin, our friends, our family, oh, that happened to them. You are grieving that. That means you are not wise. And people who are dead. That is very beautiful, this thing. Asocha nanvasochastvam prajnavadamsi bhashase gatasuna gatasuncha nanusochanti panditaha. He gives the definition of a pandita. Who is the one? Here, real pandita, he doesn't grieve either people who are living or dead. And pandita, he doesn't define the one who knows Vedas. He didn't say one who knows Shastras, one who knows this. He says Pandita definition, Lord Krishna here says, Asocyan anvas gatasuna gatasuncha nanusochanti Pandita. Pandita doesn't grieve about people who passed away or who did. So whenever that means, why? Because he knows these are all passing clouds, these are temporary. So like the body changes, there is also, this is all in Sankhya Yoga, which will come later on, you read it. Dehino asmin, that's why this chapter they chant usually at the time of when people die. This, because to show that people are grieving, this is body. Dehino asmin, tada dehe kaumaram yauvanam tada. Tada dehantara prapti namuhyate. So people, like you have got this youth, young days, old age, nobody will. I can remember, there was a thing in 1990, I was going with Swami in the hospital. I was there behind Swami going, and there is a video there still. And I tell some of my family members and even my so many close friends, you know somebody there whom you know? They don't know, because that time I had the mustache, a lot of hair, and looking briskly. They thought that is some other guy. It's the same person, but how much changes? Now you lose the hair, and the face is different. So the same, your own people cannot recognize. Sometimes you yourself may not know who that is. So that can happen too. So it's the same body, but it's the changes that happen. So he says, this is part of the life, like we are giving up. That is another beautiful vasamsi jirnan yada. Like the old clothes, you give away new clothes. We all give up, but it's not easy. So that is why the whole thing is Yacha Prashna. Dharma just says, everybody sees somebody, their own family member, their own child dying, but they think they are permanent. They are not thinking. But truly they are permanent. Not the body and mind, but the Atma is permanent. That is why they feel, yeah, I am not going to die, because the Atma will never die. But to identify it with the body and mind, that is the fallacy. That is where the example I can tell you, people likewise who don't worry, Swami is the example I will tell you. His brother-in-law, Swami has two sisters, Venkamma and Parvatama, and he had two brothers, the Janaki Rama and Shesham Razu. So his Venkama, his sisters, elder sisters, husband, was a very nice man. He used to help all the people who come to Prashanti Nilayam, take care of them, help and all that. So this man once was hit by a rabbit, bit by a rabid dog which had rabies. So this man had it suffered and he died. The whole town was so sad. And Kasturi, Professor Kasturi, who wrote the Satyam Shivam Sundarami, that time he was not living in Prashant. He came to Puttaparthi from Bangalore or someplace. Then he saw, as soon as he entered, whole town was in so much mourning, grief. They were all sad, such a good man. And Swami's brother-in-law, and she was very young that time. She had little things to die. It made them all sad. And then this Kasturi, with a long face, sad face, comes to Swami. I said, Swami said, what has happened to you? Oh, this man has died, such a wonderful person, your brother-in-law. I said, Swami said in Telugu, I don't know, it's different. Savu puttukalu lekapothe naaku poddupoyedi atla. That means, how can I pass time if there is no birth and death? There is a part of the play, it is like for him exit. So how can I spend time if there is no birth and death? Only that man, because he knows these are a play, whereas other people are all, his own sister, the whole town, everybody is in deep sorrow. But Swami, for he says, he's smiling, hey, why do you cry? And same thing when his mother left the body in Brindavan during summer course, Swami sent the body to Prashanti Nilayam to take care of the ritual, but he didn't even go there. So he just sent it. He just let the summer showers. People said, should we cancel? No, let it continue, because that is a body. She left the fort, but that body is being taken care of, the right ritual. That is why they don't, your own closest, in physical sense, their closest relation, but they are not bothered. Even recently, not recently, when I was, how old was I? I was about 12 years old. That memory is so good on my head. Acharya Vinoba Bhava, Vinoba Bhave, some of you may know. We sing the Sarvadharma prayer, Om Tat Sat Sri Narayana Tu Purushottama Guru. That is the one composed by him, saying all things are there. And this man knows so many languages, he wants to learn the languages. So he used to give a discourse on Gita Pravachana. I read his Dek, and I was going to high school. I went to attend this thing in the municipal school grounds. So that made big impression. So this man was learning Telugu from, he was in the prison. The time these people were all put in prison because of freedom struggle, along with one Ram Subbareddy. He is related to us, my father. So actually I have a Gita which was given to my father by him. So this man, he was learning this, Vinoba Bhave was learning Telugu from Ram Subbareddy. So this was going on. Then, meanwhile, when he was there is a telegram, he gets it. Just he looks at quickly, there's a brief message, right? Telegram is just brief. And puts it back and continues his lesson and teaches Vinoba Bhave Telugu lesson and finished that. Then he asked Acharya Vinoba Bhave, what is that thing you got telegram? Oh, my son died. So, God, your son died, you could continue the lesson. Then because Acharya Vinoba Bhave was talking about Sthita Prajna, man of steady wisdom, what are the qualities? And he talked about this man in this own town. He was from Kadapa. He was giving the talk, and I was in Kadapa school. He was talking. So in this town, there is a man who really lived, who was Sthita Prajna. There are people, because for them this is all a drama, this is not real. So there's that kind of establishment for the death is like change in the vesture, change in the clothes. So that kind of, because they're so established in the Atmic consciousness, they're so not disturbed. So there are so many people like that, I think bothers them.